actually, if you think about this whole meeting and you think about what we were doing in Herald Square just yesterday, but especially when we're listening to the Boston bus drivers, we're talking about the Christina Gonzalez campaign, we're talking about the shutdown that they're doing at the Shakur Morales Center. Every one of those things are an example of an all-out campaign against the workers right here, and also an example of capitalism in a kind of irreversible decline. So that is the theme of this year's conference, about defeating what will it take? And this is a real question, and it doesn't have any one answer. It's what we're also experimenting with in a living way in the struggle. But the question of the conference is, what will it take to defeat dead-end capitalism? So that conference is in 3 weeks, and it really represents a revolutionary approach. It represents an approach that in a workers' world's most important annual political event is our party conference. So November 16th and 17th, we want to ask everyone who's here to take out your calendar and mark it and think about coming all day on Saturday. It starts 9 in the morning. It goes until 6 in the evening, and there are also discussion groups. And on Sunday, it's half the day. You take tonight's meeting and the whole variety of struggles and confrontations, the struggle on the right to organize. What could be more basic than that? The union struggle in Boston, where we're red-baited, especially as being Workers' World Party. Why would they draw that out and put it in the newspaper and make it an actual charge? Because of what, again and again, the party has stood for. We didn't even have time to discuss it tonight, but on Tuesday there was a monumental, Wednesday I guess, a monumental struggle against the banks in Detroit. More than 1,000 people came out against the attempt to declare bankruptcy for Detroit. That's a huge, huge accomplishment. What, though, it takes to actually bring folks to the party conference, and this is why we want to bring it to everyone's attention here, is if anyone's going to think about giving up a weekend, coming all day Saturday for a conference, it's only because they actually already know us in the struggle and know the role that we've played and are hungry for sort of an understanding of the theory and what holds, what can keep determined cadre in the struggle for many years and through many struggles. What is it that links it all together? Unless folks here really think about intentional meetings and calls and Facebook connections to friends that you know, that you've worked with, real invitations. We're doing a mailing tonight. It's a first-class snail mail. We don't usually do that. It's a couple thousand pieces. We've put out emails. We're going to do calls. We're going to do texts. But for the most part, what's important is the individual calls, the individual outreach that everyone here does to people they have worked with in the struggle, to say it's particularly important for you to come November 16th to this conference. It's close by. It's 29th Street. It's the American Indian Community House. It's a beautiful, beautiful community center. Now, the other thing also, it's how we even see the conference. Now, you may have said, I've been there in past years. But it's not just a whole series of good and militant and revolutionary talks. There's an intense evaluation going on where we're at and what kind of struggles and how they play out and what they've accomplished and what's been the response that is going on in every single one of the reports that happens from around the country. So I can't stress this enough. It's really, no one comes just because they saw a leaflet. The intentional invitations from everyone here, sending out notices, making calls, giving a leaflet, and talking to people about coming to an intense political experience, because that's what the conference really is. You can sort of learn more sometimes, more politics, more revolutionary politics, theory, and hear about a whole number of struggles in this one weekend. It's kind of interesting because it recharges the batteries of longtime comrades, and it also, for many, many friends, it suddenly clicks how the struggles are linked together in a global struggle. So it's important on two different levels. There are quite a number of, for example, young people coming, whether it is from Rockford, Illinois, or Durham, North Carolina, or Charlotte, or many other cities, and also activists that we've known for years. Now, there's a mailing, as I say, that's been going on tonight. We hope it'll be almost finished. If you can stay after the meeting and help work on it, it might actually get out tonight. If not, we're going to be finishing it up tomorrow starting at 1 o'clock. So if you can't stay tonight, but you can come in tomorrow to finish it, please do so, because we want it out and in the mailbox by tomorrow afternoon. Just to say some of the things we're thinking of doing with this year's conference. There's going to be a special youth panel on Saturday. There's a separate meeting of FIST, the Fight Imperialism, Stand Together, youth. There's a disabilities meeting. There's going to be a meeting on how we proceed of trade union activists talking about Viola and Boston. So some of the things are part of the actual conference plenary sessions, and some are going to be part of workshops and breakouts. There's going to be a class on what is Marxism. All of this is about relearning and kind of teaching others that the working class needs its own independent political party in order to be a revolutionary force that can transform society. And what we need is independence from bourgeois, from ruling class ideology. And that is an outlook that just permeates all of society. It's like a poisonous gas. It seeps in everywhere. And so the conference is really a counter to that. We talk about it as applying scientific socialism and applying it in a whole number of different struggles. Linking it consciously to anti-racist struggles and standing and defending the most oppressed. Now, I also just tonight want to raise, because a mailing that's going out, we can only exist as an independent force if we also have our own financial basis. Everyone here is a worker with no means and no resources for the most part. And yet there's no corporation and no foundation that is going to carry us except what we're able to do out of our own pockets. And that comes through again and again in every single struggle. The ability to put out a newspaper, make copies of a leaflet, put out a mailing, and make signs to be in the streets yesterday. How did all those signs happen? And foam cord and banners and all of that. So part of this mailing tonight and part of building for the conference is really the supporter program. It's the weekly pledges. We want to ask everyone here to think about what you can do in terms of the fund drive, renewing subscriptions on the subs, donating to make the conference possible, remembering the National Fund Drive. It doesn't happen We can't support this very modest office that we see here without everyone literally digging in. So that's also a part of the conference, a part of what we do every year. We can't take it for granted. It's really almost every single day is a struggle, even while new struggles erupt. I thought it was so exciting beginning with both Larry Hale talking about the Shakur Morales Center, hearing directly from Christina Gonzalez's campaign and from Douglas or Donald? Daniel Cox. But it's different on Facebook? Okay, anyway.
I also forgot to mention that I'm part of the tactical team that kind of helped organize it, so it's my first.
Part of the tactical team, right, that's so important. And Monica's report on the Boston struggle, everyone should think about if you're available to go on Monday to Boston. And if you're not in Boston, then you should be at City College, right, as part of this takeover. So there are two different places to be just this Monday. But all of that comes back to the conference. All of it comes and kind of gets fed in a concentrated way to a discussion of revolutionary politics, of what it's going to take. And it's going to take a lot of determination, but it's going to take workers here building an independent force. And it takes very determined cadre that hold together for years. So thank you very much.